Okay, well, good evening, everybody. And the reason I uh, started so late is I was a little late getting here and I had to rush to get things done in order to get on the air. But here I am. And basically, the only reason I'm here is because of the rather confusing stuff that's being put out on the propaganda websites operated by Tim Holmes' cult. And let me get down to where it is. Like I said, it was in a rush. Doop, 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 doop. Now, this nonsense was published where Randy Erickson claims to have called the Florida State Attorney's Office. And when she called the Florida State Attorney's Office, she basically said this that I was interfering with the case and what have you, but something else. Oh, okay, this is wrong thing. Bad slide. What I want is right here. Okay. Now, what's interesting about the fact that she called the state attorney's office is what she said, according to this article, to the state attorney. And this is the important thing to carry away from this. Erickson advised that she had spoken to Blanchard's defense attorney and offered to turn over documents that Blanchard sent her, but requested a release signed by Blanchard, offering her to do so. Well, herein lies the problem. As I had stated in a promotional video, I made it a point to call the state attorney's office in Marion County and discuss a few things with him. I was on the phone for quite a while. And one of the things that came out of that is I see task forces in here again, right on cue, but I guess, you know, task force being task force is got to have the attention. But be that as may, you can carry this back to your cult task force. Um, anyway, I talked to the Marion County State Attorney's Office for roughly an hour. And the one thing that came out was Randy Erickson did not call the Marion County Sheriff Office. Or if they did, she spoke to a ghost because they have no record of it. Now, you people might want to read up on Florida's open records law for if Randy Erickson had called the state attorney's office with this information, they would have put it in the court records because this is uh, part of a murder investigation. But since I brought it to the attention to the state attorney's office that Randy Erickson has or claims to have evidence that has not been disclosed or out about in the Blanchard investigation, that she now may have to put up whatever information she has. And how is this going to be accomplished? It's going to be accomplished by her being subpoenaed to be deposed the same way that Kirk Pendergrass was deposed. And she is more than likely going to have to be subpoenaed to come to Gainesville, go on the witness stand under oath, and be examined by both the defense and the prosecution. And Randy apparently does not realize that any information she gives to the defense about Neely Blanchard, the defense is obligated under law to turn this information over to the prosecution's office. It's called reciprocal discovery. Any information that the defense has goes to the prosecution. Any evidence the prosecution has goes to the defense. That's how the courts work in virtually every state and territory of the United States. Um, and so she is going to have to appear. Now, Glow, she may try, but this is a little different than a misdemeanor warrant. This would be a federal warrant because this is dealing with federal contempt of court. This is a capital case. This is a double murder. If you are if you are subpoenaed to appear in court and you are subpoenaed to give a deposition, you had better comply, because as a federal warrant operating under federal court rules, this is a district court, remember, of the state of Florida, which also works hand in hand with the federal court. And on felony subpoenas, felony contempt of courts, so on, the United States Marshal Service would step in. This would be classified as a felony contempt, and they would hunt her down. And as a matter of fact, some of the information I gave to the Ocala State Attorney's Office had to do with Kim Holmseth. That Tim Holmseth has had, or possibly has had, contact with Neely Blanchard. Tim Holmseth has had contact with Christopher Hallett. And the proof is in the dozens of posts that Tim Holmseth has written to the courts about concerning Christopher Hallett. So we have now, let's see, if I violate Neely's rights, you will go before the Tribunal of Annulments Violation. Randy will make sure. Deputy County Recorder, Abstractor, Board of Review, Judge, real estate license. So a real estate broker is going to take me before I tribunal. Bring it on. But remember this, task force. Yeah, I'm just trying to comprehend this mess. Randy Erickson has told the prosecutor in this case, which is the state attorney's office, that she has information about Neely Blanchard. And she has also told the state attorney's office that she has contacted the defense counsel and that she will only give the defense counsel the evidence if Neely gives her permission to do so. And the problem here is, Lever and Chad, what is the situation here is that Randy Erickson has evidence in a murder trial. And if she threatens to withhold this evidence from either the defense or the prosecution because she wants some kind of release, That is obstruction. That is willfully withholding evidence that pertains to a capital felony. In this case, murder in the first degree. They will issue a warrant post haste for her arrest on that charge. You know, with all these fake licenses that Randy claims to have, she might want to sit down, pull out a law book, and read what it says about withholding evidence in an ongoing felony investigation. So, well, you bring up an interesting point, uh, Task Force. Randy does have an obligation to report whatever evidence she has. She cannot withhold that evidence under condition of an endorsement by one part or the other. This is evidence in a trial. It's the people's property. She is obligated under the law to provide this information without any requirements to it. Doing so makes it a a state crime, because you are obstructing a federal or a state investigation. This might turn into a federal one, by the way. And that information has to be presented to the court. You can't go and say, well, I'll only give the evidence to the defense attorney if the defendant in the case signs a piece of paper saying I can do so. Can't do that. Evidence is evidence is evidence. It has to be given to the court now. She needs to send to the court right away the information she has on this case, whatever it is. If she does not, then she's in a whole heap of trouble. And the state attorney's office is now aware that Randy Erickson claims to have evidence in this trial that she is withholding, awaiting a signed release from the defendant. That ain't gonna fly. You know, Randy Erickson doesn't know shit. And now you really, Task Force, need to look up what the annulments clause is, because you have no idea what it is. Neither does Randy or anybody else in this idiot group. It has nothing to do. And this escrow agent also has nothing to do with this case. It's a real estate term. And this does not have anything to do with professional licenses. One does not have to be a professional, whatever you want to call it, to provide evidence in court. And to sit there and say that because of Randy's so-called professional licenses, that is the reason for giving perjured testimony to the state of Florida, that ain't gonna fly, because they're gonna look into my background. They already have. And they're gonna find that you committed perjury. And by calling into the Florida state attorney, even on the phone, there's a little thing that comes on if you leave a voicemail that says that you swear and affirm that anything you say in this phone call is the truth. And so by lying on a phone call is the same as lying in court. You committed perjury. And and it's like the state attorney said, they want that evidence. And if you don't give it to them, they're going to come looking for you. And if you sit there and say that you're a member of some task force, that you audit all this stuff and everything, you will be cited for perjury and giving false testimony in a murder trial. And believe me, they're separate things. Giving false testimony and committing perjury are two separate things that mean the same thing. Two levels of crime, because you're falsely reporting a crime. because of all the things that you say about me, allegedly, that's considered a criminal act. And if you go under oath in court or on that phone call and you lie to the court, that's perjury. And perjuring a felon is a pretty felony is a pretty serious crime. Now, I have been listening with somewhat bemusement of what has been going on with the Telegram stuff and the things they've been saying about the woman that has claimed to have witnessed Neely Blanchard shoot Chris Hallett. Now, I understand Tim Holmseth is running around trying to get someone to transcribe the 911 call. And that's all fine and dandy. It's public information. If he can do it, fine. Because I am going to be asking someone that transcribes documents if she would transcribe the same 911 call. I know the court has one, but it hasn't been sent to me yet. There is a transcription of both the 911 call and the statement that Neely Blanchard gave to the FBI when she was interviewed. So the information's out there. Tim Holmseth, you're going off on a tangent, lying about people again. I don't know where Paula is. Paula's doing her thing. There's no law or requirement that says she has to be here. If she wants to be here, she can be here. I have no problem with that. And it's just this stuff that you say about Paula on Telegram is just proof that Tim Holmseth is not an investigative reporter, because investigative reporter is supposed to be dedicated with the truth, not spreading lies. Good evening, Toot. I came in rather late. I got kind of stuck coming in and all that, but I'm here. And Task Force seems to be awful concerned that Paul is not here. I wonder why. I think Paul is busy with other matters, and you know where Paula hangs out, so if you want to go see Paula, be my guest. Whoever you may be, because you're still too much of a chicken shit to give. Oh, good God Almighty. Oh, this is too funny. I think Task Force watches too many soap operas. Gee whiz. But that's another thing that Phil McConnell will be upset to hear about, that he's being accused of having an affair with a married woman. A 72-year-old guy who I don't think is into such things. He's still mourning the death of Denise. So, that's nice to disrespect Field McConnell again. So all you Field McConnell supporters are out there, take note of how Holmes's call truly feels about Field McConnell. Real nice to hear. But that, this is elder abuse, and I'm sure he was willing to do so, that Phil McConnell might be willing to file charges against Tim and Randy for elder abuse. He's got plenty of evidence. And that'll probably get me another YouTube video from the cult. I don't know. I don't have that information. I'm not privy to that information. You're going to have to talk to Paula, because she is the only one that would have that information, except perhaps Field himself. So if you want information on Field McConnell, about anything that has to do with Field McConnell, I suggest you get a hold of Paula. because I don't have the information. So you're wasting your time being in this room because I have no information on Phil McConnell. All I know is, his computer is up and running, and when he feels like getting on the air, he'll get on the air. But, now that you can't seem to stay on the subject, Task Force, you still have not answered questions that I have asked you for the last 4 years. Number one, Tim Holmseth has been stalking me for 10 years. He's lied about me for 10 years, going on 14. And IBT over in Telegram seemed to get that through her thick head. I think the rocks in her head are kind of blocking things. And that's the reason why I talk about Tim Holmseth all. And as far as the Blanchard case, this is a high profile double murder case 90 miles from my house. And this is a local case. And I cover trials, which is the original intent of this channel, not just missing child cases, but court cases of interest. And the Blanchard case is a court case of interest. And for whatever reason, Holmseth and Erickson are in a panic. They do not want me to cover this trial. And I have made arrangements where if I can't personally be there, that the case will be covered by individuals in the courtroom, and they will get the information back to me. Now this is kind of funny. You see, Task Force, I think, is trying to get a rise out of me here, because Task Force she's constantly going on. She wants to see my living room. She pokes fun of my trailer because I'm not wealthy like some people are. I am on Social Security and I'm limited on expenses. And yes, I live in a 30-year-old trailer. Well, Tim Holmseth probably is, because if you look at the grifting he's doing on his e-beg pages, since he can't hold a legitimate job, he's making about $3,000 a month. That's 3 times more than I make on Social Security. And so he can afford to go skirt chasing all over the United States, living off skirts who are foolish enough to donate $3,000 a month to Holmseth. So this is going to be a given here. I never claimed to have a lot of money. I do not intend to have a lot of money. I'm not here for money. I am here for the truth. Timothy Holmseth clearly is not. Because I'm going to get, as a reminder of this Whitey Bulger business, which has to be the funniest thing that's come along. I've talked to sheriff's deputy friends of mine about this, and they think it's hilarious. And they poke fun at Timmy because they read his blog just for shits and giggles, and so they know what goes on over there. But there is one simple thing. It's a 3-letter acronym that would settle all of this in a split second. Anybody care to guess what the acronym is? Everybody says it's a word, but this is actually an acronym. It's the name of a chemical. The acronym, and I'm going to say this slowly so that Task Force gets it, is DNA. It's an acid that is in all of us. It's in every single part of our body, from the ends of our hair strands all the way down through our toes and toenails, and all the organs within our body and all the fluids that we excrete, like when you poop or pee. DNA is there. And so all they have to do is take a sample of my DNA, send it to Quantico, and compare it to Whitey Bulger since his DNA is there, and they will know in a very, very short period of time that Tim Holmseth is full of shit. And that's all Tim Holmseth is capable of, is shit. So task force might want to go and read up on DNA. You got mitochondrial DNA, you've got other DNA techniques that are used to identify an individual that has left the scene of a crime. And the same thing can be done in the Chris Hallett. They can take DNA of that entire residence and Chris Hallett himself and see if I was in the house. They can go out to Delphi, Indiana, take DNA samples from all over Delphi, Indiana, and they'll find that I have not been to Delphi, Indiana. And they can do this anywhere they want. And Tim Holmseth knows this. Well, I'll tell you what, Task Force, if you're so concerned about my living arrangements, why don't you buy me a new mobile home and, maybe get me a new mobile home with an air conditioner in it since you are so damn concerned about the fact that this is a 30-year-old mobile home and I only have $1,000 a month in Social Security. I mean, you seem to be very concerned about my living conditions. Maybe I should go on GoFundMe and say that Timothy Charles Holmseth's big fan by the name of Task Force is so concerned about my living here in a 30-year-old mobile home in Florida swampland, the same state where Randy Erickson is alleged to have a real estate license, at least for the time being, who deals with the very same Florida swampland. Maybe Erickson could be my real estate broker and find me a house I could afford after I get the money from GoFundMe. Why don't you go talk to your leader about that? Well, let me ask you this, Task Force. Why don't you go back to 2015, 2009, even, and see who started all this? You talk about me obsessing about Tim Holmseth. It's Tim Holmseth obsessing about me. Now, I'll give you an example. Let's go over to Timmy Land, Timmy's Crazy Town, which is TimothyCharlesHolmseth.com. We have the latest FBI. We have Randy Erickson calling the FBI. And what do we see in the middle of this article? We see a picture, two composite drawings of Whitey Bulger with me in the middle, which means that once again, Tim Holmseth is so obsessed with me that he is claiming that I am Whitey Bulger with absolutely no proof. And here we go. You see, this is it. Here we go, folks. Proof once again. All this is about money. Tim Holmseth, whenever he gets the chance, puts up money. And, again, let's go in and see what his latest statistics are here. Okay, we got the car. Tim Holmseth, the car. Now we have $11,579 that he has collected for the car. Now somebody told me, I think it was Task Force, that he has a perfectly good car. And if that's the case, why doesn't he need another one? And raise this month is $1,636. Well, that's, and so somebody sent him $21. Another sent him, this was 4 days ago. So in the last 4 days, he's gotten a couple $100. So that's beg me site number one. Then we go down to on top of the car, Tim Holmseth has to have uh, $17,495 to live on. And they're not showing the monthly, but a day ago, some idiot gave him $100, another idiot gave him 50, and that was a week ago, and 20, and so forth. So you add all these up, he's making pretty damn good money. And oh, and we mustn't leave out Donald Trump. I mean, the number one hero of the day. We got Operation Alert Trump. And so for some reason, Tim Holmseth needs $4,989. He needs close to $5,000 to FedEx Donald Trump. Why, if he is one man removed from Donald J. Trump, does he need $5,000 to contact Donald Trump? I would love to know why he needs all this money. I mean, I was a truck driver for 42 years, and I sure as hell didn't need $5,000 a month to live on. Matter of fact, I got paid. I got paid to drive the truck. I had a real job. Tim Holmseth chases skirts all over the country and lives out of a car and has to hide from people, pretend he's in protective custody, which he's not. I blew that hoax out of the water a long time ago. Now, he may not be out of sight voluntarily. I mean, we don't even know if all these things that is on True Social is Tim Holmseth, because all we see is pictures and the written word. We don't see Tim Holmseth live on the air. And if we do see Tim Holmseth, it's in a selfie, walking in front of a car, standing in front of signs, standing in front of buildings. That's all we see. Oh, and of course, you can't forget the boats. But if you go over on TimothyCharlesHolmseth.com, and I mean, I'm going to do something that Tim Holmseth does not do. Because for some strange reason, Tim Holmseth likes using my material. He takes it and puts it on his show, but with maybe once or twice, he has never put up the link to my website. But here you go, folks. To show you I got nothing to hide. This is Tim Holmseth. If I can get it to work. This is Tim Holmseth's blog. You can go over on Tim Holmseth and you can read all this stuff. Read every damn bit of it. This multi-part arrested so suddenly, all the way down. If you go up to the top, you've got all his websites, all his donation pages, all the crap he's ever written about me, Levi Page, Alex Goddard. He's even put up his bullshit about the Jacob Wetterling case. I mean, it's all there. You can read every word about Tim. I'm not going to hide. And, if Tim Holmseth is going to plagiarize my work, being an ethical journalist that he's supposed to be, it would be nice if he started linking people back to my site instead of stealing my audience. Because when he takes my videos and puts them into his BitChute account, he does not link my website. And so people may not know how to get over here because they have no way of knowing which channel I'm on. And, again, just for shits and giggles, because I've referred to it before, I'm going to give you, see if it comes up. This is Tim Holmseth's BitChute channel. And so you want to see how obsessed Tim Holmseth is, go right over to this channel because he puts all kinds of stuff over there. And let's see, the latest thing he put about me, uh, is that FBI announces Neely Blanchard confessed to the murder of Christopher Hallett. So he's stating that I am with the FBI. And nice thing about it is he keeps putting up the wrong thing. And then the, the article above it is breaking FBI plot to plant agent disguised as media in Florida murder trial to rig case exposed. So Tim Holmseth in this article is accusing me of somehow having the ability to rig the case. And of course, it's fucking up. Uh, One thing you're going to find when you go to BitChute sometimes, uh, let me try this again. There we go. But he in this article is making accusations again. And while we're in the subject, yeah, got 17 people in here. So since you never answer a question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If I've only got 17 people in this room, I must be doing a shitty job for the FBI because I can't get more than 17 people to watch this show at any one time, and you're one of them. And so I don't get it. I don't get why you, for instance, is interested in a channel with only 17 people watching it. You know, are you that much of a loser that you have to come down here? And 5G towers. Now, I'll tell you something. It's too bad you haven't done your homework because you would find something out about me. And that is that I know a lot of shit when it comes to communications technology. And all this stuff out there about 5G towers is bullshit. 5G is nothing more than a frequency. It's the fifth generation of communication. When you're talking to me on this channel right now, you are on 5G. Because 5G is not only those little towers you like to scream about, it's the fiber optic cable that comes into your house or wherever you get your internet from. Because it has nothing to do with towers, it has to do with the operating frequency of the internet. Now, another thing about 5G towers, I don't know if any of you have ever owned a CB radio or a walkie talkie or have one of these little things you can buy down at Walmart for $50 that you can talk for 15 miles in a straight line. They're called GMRS radios. Same technology, because all it is a walkie talkie. And they have a power setting, which is relatively low. And the same is true of 5G. The ultra high frequency is operating on a power transmission that is about the same as your cell phone, 3 watts, 1.5 to 3 watts, depending on the configuration of the phone. So basically, when you use your cell phone, you're using a walkie talkie. And a 5G cell tower is nothing more than a repeater. And the emissions from that cell tower ain't going to cut your ass down and turn you into the jolly green alien or whatever you want to say. It's a bunch of crap. People in the communications industry laugh at people like you because you have no idea what you're talking about. So you go right ahead and show your ignorance with all these conspiracies about 5G towers. But if you're going to do that, you better turn off your TV set. You better turn off your internet. You better throw out your telephone and everything else because you are on .5G right now. And well, task force, you must be from a foreign country because apparently you don't know. Social Security is not taxed. I live on Social Security. And because I live on Social Security, my Social Security is not taxed. And so, because of that, I don't make any money. And thanks to Tim Homeseth, I can't make any money because all this crap that Tim Homeseth puts up on the internet, companies like Walmart do background checks to see what you're doing on the internet. And when they see Tim Homeseth's blog, guess what? I ain't going to get a job. So you can be thankful for that. Tim Homeseth is making it so I can't work, so I don't have to worry about. No, I don't work at the airport. See, this is something, you're working under an assumption here. Who in the hell said that I work at the airport? You know, Not everybody that goes to the airport works there. You know, Timmy's supposed to be this investigative reporter. Why hasn't he found out that I do not work at the airport? I mean, as to what I do when I'm at the airport and leaving, he should be able to figure that out. You know, so answer the question yourself, task force. What does one do at the airport? Now, what am I backtracking about? You made the claim. What am I backtracking about? Come on, come on. You know, I'm on Social Security. Social Security is not subject to income tax under U.S. law. So what am I backtracking? I can't get a job because of Tim Homeseth, so I don't work at the airport. And so, you make these statements, but you can't back them up. You sit there and just throw this stuff out there just to be a troll. I'm here trying to have a reasonable conversation with you, and you're like a grasshopper. You're hopping all over the place. You're not making any sense, and you're just, IBT doesn't even support you. She says you're a fraud. She says you're a impersonator, and they have nothing to do with you over there. So, this is what confuses me about this whole thing. And then, why is Tim Homeseth praying for a pedophile? An alleged pedophile? Because, of course, the man's innocent until proven guilty. But you're accusing me of stuff with virtually no evidence. So why are you giving Richard Allen a break? I mean, they found the gun at the scene. They have DNA. They have all kinds of. Yeah, I went to the airport to get on an airplane. That's usually what people do. They go to the airport to fly. Or else maybe I go down and stand on the balcony down there on the 15th floor and watch airplanes take off. I mean, Jesus. But, I guess whatever it is that Task Force is drinking, it's not working. She must have the DTs or something. But and what does this have to do with Neely Blanchard? Is another thing. We're here talking about Neely Blanchard, the Neely Blanchard trial, and someone that may be a material witness that has all this evidence. And what does Task Force do? They talk about airplanes and airports. Why aren't we talking about Neely Blanchard? Why all this talk about trailers and airports and taxes and everything else? Neely Blanchard certainly doesn't have to worry about doing taxes. I just don't get it. And I don't get what's going on with, defending someone accused of stealing or murdering two children. Someone is actually defending a guy that is accused of murdering two children. Who does such a thing? This is supposed to be a organization dedicated to defending children, not defending child killers. So Yeah, I mean, and that's Richard. They are saying that that woman is lying, that she's faking, and all this. And they say she was locked in a bathroom. They apparently didn't listen very close. They were in a bedroom. I've seen the blueprint of that house. They went immediately from the living room where the murder is alleged to have taken place, went into the bedroom, shut the door, and locked the door. Now there is a bedroom next to, or a bathroom next to the bedroom, and they may have gone there for a period of time. And they also criticized the child because the child wasn't acting like someone that was supposed to be scared. Well, the child was scared. The child is a child, and childs are not going to act like adults. You know, in the call, you could hear the woman trying to calm her daughter down. So, but to sit there and call a child a liar, which they've done before, and call a mother or child or a liar, who, according to testimony in the case, if it had not been for Natalie's being jammed, she might have been dead, and then Neely wouldn't have any witnesses. Well, of course you did, because you don't care. I mean, how many times have you been at gunpoint? I doubt ever. But again, let us wait until the trial. We'll see who's right or wrong. But to sit there and laugh at a woman because, number one, she was very close to Chris Hallett. She worked with him for as long as Neely Blanchard had. And, you know, you have absolutely no soul, from what I can understand. And, here we go with the Walmart hat. Yeah, I'll wear it one of these days. I've got it in my collection here somewhere. But the thing, it doesn't matter to utilize it. I can't get a job there. So I don't know why you keep bringing it up. You know, Tim Holmseth has made it to where I cannot get a job. And, of course, yeah. Yeah, of course. See, the thing of it is, the Chris Hallett supporters might want to think about this. Tim Holmseth, if he succeeds at what he's doing, may allow the real killer of Christopher Hallett go free. There is that possibility. And I can guarantee you the son is not happy about this. Chris Hallett's son knows what Tim Holmseth is saying. I found this out just recently. And he is watching Tim Holmseth like a hawk. Because he gets madder every day. He wants to see justice for his father. And remember, there was a 91-year-old woman living next door. It was her son that was murdered. So you're laughing about the fact that this woman was a witness to the murder of her son, this 91-year-old woman. Imagine what she would feel like if she found out that you were making a joke out of the killing of Chris Hallett. That you people over on Teleturd are using the death of Chris Hallett to rake in all this money, pretending he's something he's not. This is a simple murder case of a woman that got mad at a man that wasn't living up to the promises he kept, and she shot him. And it's real interesting that out of the blue, she got mad enough to kill Chris Hallett. And she even said at some point that she found out that Chris Hallett was not who he said he was. That he was not helping her get her children back. In fact, that he was working against her children being returned to her. Where did she get that information from? Is that in the evidence that you have, Randy Erickson, that you have information that might explain why uh, she blew up and killed Chris Hallett? Possible. Yeah, it's yeah. We sit here and talk about mobile homes and swamps and Social Security and everything, but there is a man who is dead because of circumstances beyond his control. Something happened to cause Neely Blanchard to kill Chris Hallett. And it's not this weird conspiracy theory bullshit about the FBI or CIA, NSA, or whatever. It boils down to a woman being mad at someone for not doing what they promised and she shot him. End of story. Yeah, you're not doing Chris Hallett justice by floating all these conspiracies around and endangering the possibility that neither him, his spirit, if you believe in such a thing, or his family are going to get closure here. Because in the end, that's what's important, is that the family of Chris Hallett sees justice. He has more than one son. He's got extended families that are watching this case, that want to see if Chris Hallett is going to get justice for being taken away from them. There's a 90-year-old and there's a 91-year-old woman that has outlived her son. And believe me, I personally know what it's like to outlive your child. It's not pleasant. It doesn't go away. And so here, Neely Blanchard did the same thing. She deprived a mother of her son. She denied a son of his father. And so what does Tim do? He sits there and makes a joke about Chris Hallett's death. He makes up stuff that is not true about Chris Hallett's death. He is grifting off of Chris Hallett's death. And, it's pathetic. But that's what these people are. All this, anything they write about me makes no difference to anything. It's not the truth, but you can't do anything about it. But they're desperate to keep me off the air, and we're going to find out why. That's going to be, I think, part of the key for this is Thief River Falls, Minnesota. I think it's time that I flew up to Thief River Falls, Minnesota, and personally talk to people up there and find out just what is so secret about Thief River Falls and a couple other locations that came up. Because there's something being hidden here, and it's about time it was put into the light of day. We're going to find out about Lawrence Hall, how he figures into all this, and all these other names that are out there, and the remarkable series of events that transported people into this quagmire that is now the E-Clause murder. So I guess you could call it Operation Mincemeat, because that's what probably is going to be happening here in the next few weeks. Is we are going to pay a visit to Thief River Falls, Minnesota, and see what's hidden up there. Find out about these trespass warrants and grand larceny charges and all these things that have shown up in the police blotter. So, but I've had a real interesting day today at discussing things with Ocala and looking into a few other things that have been going on. And as soon as information clears, I should have information on the Neely Blanchard case as to other information that I've been waiting for, that I'm waiting to get unsealed. And the court said that they're going to notify me when they do so, because there's interesting information coming up about that. And Pie in the Sky, thanks for coming in. This was just kind of a short notice thing because I noticed all this weirdness that's been posted over there. And, they. And, yeah, and so, they're over there making a joke over the death of Chris Hallett, um, which is sad. This is the latest from Timothy Charles bullshit. Through my independent journalist investigation, I may have discovered what was going on in Christopher Hallett's home during the mysterious 7 minutes that Shannon said she could not get through to 911. Well, all right, well, be sure to turn that over to the authorities, Mr. Holmseth, because I certainly am going to bring this 7 minute thing to their attention. And, but I'll tell you something. Tim Holmseth apparently doesn't know how sheriff substations work. And the fact that if he had listened to the 911 call, he would have understood why it took him so long to get there. First of all, the cell coverage in the area where Chris Hallett lives is not that great. He does not live in Ocala. He lives in a suburb, and he actually lives in a house that is somewhat remote. It's a corner lot. The closest house is about a tenth of a mile away from him, and the cell coverage is not good. I found that out when I was there because it's one of the reasons I didn't transmit live from that house. You cannot get a good signal there. They do not have 5G towers in that area yet, or at least they didn't when I was there. That may have changed since. But the simple fact of the matter is that 911 was busy that night. This was a weekend. And it clearly said in the 911 call that deputies were on another call and they had to congregate to get there. And so, number one, getting through to 911 can be difficult. Number two, the deputies took a while to get there because they had to come in. Well, you lie, task force, because I have not talked to Chris's mom. I have not contacted Chris's mom. I don't know. I do not intend on contacting any of them. So you just lied about me once again. You have an infinity for lying. You cannot tell the truth. But I do know from talking to people that she is not happy that her son is gone. And this is the thing, Task Force. You still don't get it. This is not about me. It's not about anybody else. It's about a poor woman that has lost her son. You cannot get that through your thick head. You don't care about Chris's mother. You don't care about any of Chris Hallett's children. All you care about is trolling this channel. All you care about is yourself, about how clever you can be, all of it. You give not one damn about Chris Hallett. You don't care. Well, might as well. Enough is enough. Because, woman, Task Force has no morals, has no respect. A 91-year-old woman has lost her son, and all these people can do is joke about it. Pretty sad. And Tim Holmseth is over there making stuff up. You know, you're not an expert in communications, Holmseth. You're not an expert in anything. You're a moron. No, I tossed her. Um, I went ahead and I've had enough of that creature. Um, But, you know, it does not, well, you can have the turn the next time, Laurie. Sorry I took away your authority. But the one thing we have to remember here is this is not about Timmy. It's not about me. It's not about theories, conspiracy theories. It is about a woman that has lost her son, a 91-year-old woman that has outlived her 50-year-old son, 50 plus. And now we have this group of people making a joke out of this and making a fortune out of it. Yeah, they can brag about all the money they're making, but they're making it off of a dead man. Just like they're making money off of dead teenagers and they're making money off of dead and missing children. That's where the money's coming from. They pretend to care about these people and they don't. They care about their wallet, they care about power, they care about fame. That's all they care about. If I cared about that, I'd have more than 15 people in here. Believe me, I used to run a business and I know how to bring people, into the showroom floor if I want to. But I'm not here for that. I'm here for the truth, period. If only 18 people hear the truth, and that's the way it is. Truth does not depend on numbers. Truth depends on the truth. Doesn't matter if you want one person or a million people. If you lie, then all the numbers aren't worth it. But if you're telling the truth, and it's worth having. And if you limit yourself to numbers because you're telling the truth, then that's just the way it is. Truth is the truth is the truth. I'm not sure what Levi's doing right now. Someday if I ever get in contact with him, I'll find out. But he's working. He has a personal life. Alex is the same way. She's working. She's got a personal life, and I wish they would come on the air. They're very good at what they do, and it would be nice to have them back on the air. And in the same breath, I'm also wishing that Field McConnell comes on the air again with Paula, because there are people that miss those two on the air. They have a rapport, and there are people that are anxious. So I hope those two get back on the air. I may not believe in his politics, but I believe in his right to free speech. But we will see what happens in the future if they get on the air or not. I wish Field well. I wish he is able to do what he likes to do in life. He has a heck of a collection of cars, so I hope he's able to enjoy them. Um, and he's got friends that he wants to talk to, so maybe his friends and him will get together. I don't know. If I get any information about Field that I'm authorized to give out, I will let everybody know. But for right now, I don't know a thing about Field other than his computer is up and running. As far as I know, someone went up and fixed it. So the computer's up and running. And so when Paula feels like giving information about Field and what the situation is there, I'm sure she will do that. And I think that's about it for tonight, folks. I'm going to try not to come on here so often because it's actually not my forte. Well, you see, the thing of it is, what I do with Task Force is I point out the truth about Task Force and what she talks about. I mean, we're sitting here talking about a woman on trial for the murder of the son of a 91-year-old woman, and all Task Force can talk about is mobile homes and Walmart has and stuff like that. And what my forte is not is lying. I'm not in this for the money or the profit. I'm in this for the truth. And I would prefer to be talking about missing child cases, various trials that are going on, and different things in the state of Florida. But I can't do that because my channel has been sabotaged. People are being driven away from this channel. because not only do they make these accusations about me, but they take material from my channel to use on their site and don't bother to give out the links to my channel. That's a form of plagiarism, and they just refuse to do it. And I'm not gonna go over there and put my links on their channel. If they can't do it themselves, I'm not gonna do it. But I have nothing to hide, so I put up the links for both of their channels in this chat. People can go check them out, see what's being written about me and others out there, and judge for yourselves. But I'm not going to back down from this. I'm going to cover this case somehow. And I was assured by the state attorney's office that I have no problem, that they have no problem with me being up there for that case. So that's that. So anyway, I'm going to go. I got an early wheels up tomorrow. This is William K. Murtaugh, Witness 1. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and share. And stay tuned because more is coming down the pike. I've got information that should be coming out shortly. And the Prelude to Murder series will be putting out another episode, hopefully by Friday. But I will put up a video to that effect when I know what's coming up. Thank you all for coming in. You have a good evening, and we'll see you next time. Till then, have a good one.